All right. Well, hey, everyone, welcome to the 2021 annual meeting for the Vancouver Farmers Market. My name is Jordan Bolt. I'm the executive director here at the Farmers Market. I know a lot of you folks, and I am grateful that you're here. I just want to say, besides just welcome, to reiterate a few quick things I shared earlier, but for those of you just joining, we have a few requests. So if you're joining tonight, if you could just jump into the chat section, you'll see at the bottom of your screen, type in your name and your association, whether it's the name of your business or if you're a community member or who you're with. That way we can keep track of everyone who attended. So we have some people who are coming in just with phones or names we don't quite recognize from emails, and we'll do our attendance that way. If throughout the course of the night you have any questions, there's a Q&A section. So just jump into the Q&A section. Feel free to ask a question. Kate will be in there managing the Q&A, and she will help answer any questions that you have or get an answer for you. And we may have, if we have time at the end of the night, we'll address a few of those as well. So that is that. I just want to say, again, welcome to everyone who's here. And I apologize, it's a bummer. We used to do these in person. This is our second year online. It tends to be sort of the theme of the year that we're doing more of these webinars. I recognize this is not super interesting or fun for vendors because you don't get to interact, and there's just not a lot of good options for that. But we are excited, hopefully, for the coming year that we will be able to gather in person again, have dinner together, and enjoy a night like an annual meeting. So, but with that being said, let's get this meeting started. I am going to turn it over to Lizzie Safransky. She's going to get us started tonight. She is our president of the board of directors, and she's going to introduce you to our board.
Hi all. Yes, thanks for coming. I really love working with the Vancouver Farmers Market and feel privileged to work with you all. And one of my favorite things to do on the weekends is to come to the market. So I've probably met quite a few of you there over the years. And we love everything we get there. So thank you so much for all that you do for the community and showing up every weekend. Okay, I was going to introduce the board members. So you know, if you see them around, who they are. And these are our vendor board members. So we have Michael Sullivan from N&M Herb Nursery, Rebecca Kawanami from Riverwave Foods, Marcia Irvin with Libby's Best Dog Bakery, and Jocelyn Stoffer with Windy River Livestock. So thanks to all of them for representing all of you. And then the community board members are Bill Belden, Earl Frederick, me, and Julie Ahrens of IQ Credit Union. And next, we actually wanted to introduce our last two board members who are terming out now. So, oops, sorry. So we thank them for their service. They've both been on for 6 years and have added a really ton of valuable information, and done a lot of work on behalf of the Vancouver Farmers Market. So we want to thank Kathy Johnson with Farm Made Soap and Matt Van Weyf with Quackenbush Farm. Really appreciate, I've loved working and getting to know both of you. So thank you so much for your service. And then in their place, we are adding 2 new board members who will begin immediately. And that's Maria Humphrey with Last Farm on the left and Kim Rolfing with Fuse for You. We're very excited to have them on board, and we get to take advantage of all their enthusiasm and knowledge. And so welcome. Thanks. I think that's all I had. Jordan, over to you for strategic planning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So before we talk strategic planning, throughout the course of the night, we have a couple polls for you. Remember, we used to do these sort of in-person polls. We're going to try to do some digital ones here. So this is our first poll of the night, and I'm going to bring it up for you guys. You should be able to just work with your with it on your screen. So if you see the poll in front of you, feel free to select the one that fits best with you. We'll do this really quick, and then we'll share the results. All right, a lot of people have participated so far. I'll give it a few more seconds. Hopefully everyone is doing okay with Zoom. I know for some of us, we're on it all the time. But I also know that everyone's computers are a little bit different if you're on a phone or a tablet. So it's hard for me to tell you guys exactly what to do, but hopefully this is pretty intuitive. And we're going to end the poll. All right, so can publish results. Can you guys, hopefully you guys can see that there. Looks like we have a lot of first timers joining us now, which is super exciting. So welcome to new folks to the market. We'll talk about that. And we have a few, look at the 8 people who have been here for more than 16 years. So that's really exciting to see some folks that have been here for so long. So hope you probably couldn't see because I didn't share the results. Did you?
We can see it now.
Okay, I'm learning. This is my first time on Zoom. So here we go. So now there's a lot of buttons for me on my end to click, but there you go. So super exciting. You see sort of a breakdown of who's here tonight, just to give you an idea. We'll have some other ones coming up here in a little bit. So let's get out of here. And let's start strategic planning. So in 2020, the Vancouver Farmers Market, because 2020 didn't have a lot going on, so we decided we'd undertake a giant strategic planning process in the midst of COVID, and we did it. We finished it last year, and if you were at our meeting last year, you saw that. So we completed a 5-year strategic plan, and I want to kind of go over where we're at and where we're going. So just to give you a bit of an update, just so you know, broadly, our big 5 goals are to increase the health and wellness and sustainability of the market, to support the businesses in the market, to support local economies through that, to advance equity and inclusion both in the market and through the people we work with, to expand the operations and continue growing our organization, and to really reinvest in both the programs and the volunteers and the staff of this organization to make sure we have a really resilient market moving forward. So we sort of take these into account as we work through our strategic plan. When you look at 2021, how did we do? We did okay. We did not know that we would continue into a pandemic for the entire year. And so that definitely continued to derail some of our efforts, as I'm sure it did for many of your businesses. But we moved operating sort of this idea of adopting and operationalizing a plan, an equity plan into a future year. We just didn't have the resources to undertake that this year. What we did really focus on was what we felt was really important was getting the board to get its strategic goals squared away and underway. And so what happened is we spent the year with the committee working on that. And starting here in December, our board will be finalizing sort of our board development plan for the coming years. And this is an exciting opportunity for the board to really start working a little bit on itself and working on things like recruitment strategies and development of board members and just all the different things that we need to do to ensure that the board that is leading and overseeing this organization is the right board that is set up for success for the future of this organization, and it can address this strategic plan moving forward. So that's what we're going to be spending a lot of time as a board working on next year. And these next 3 you'll see every single year, and that is just our food access and our entrepreneurship programs, which you're going to hear about here in a second from Stephanie, and just consistently really looking at our organization's foundational work, like structure of its staff and how our operations work to make sure that we can continue serving our vendors. What does 2022 look like? Well, we broke our plans down by years. And so for 2022, some of the big plans, really the top 3 that we're looking at are how we can create programs that will help vendors who are experiencing barriers to entrepreneurship. This could be people who have socioeconomic barriers and need some financial support. This could be maybe different cultural groups that maybe have some language barriers or challenges getting to markets, and we want to give them an opportunity to work with us. And so we're going to be working on building out some of those programs. We already have some in place, but we have a lot of work to do there. We also really want to continue working to make sure with our partners and that our market spaces are secure, they're under our control, and we can really make sure that the 200 plus businesses who work with us, that we are really privileged to support, continue having a place, and how we know how important the market is to all of you for your business. And we want to make sure that we really work to protect that market for you guys. And then something that was interesting that came out through a lot of our strategic planning and work with the city in our review process here was with our community was this idea that we are one of the few really robust artisan destinations in the region. Portland Cider Market's another really big one. But as far as an ongoing, long-standing place for artists and makers, the VFM has kind of become that. And we recognize the importance of that, and our community really values that. And we want to spend 2022 thinking about that and working on how we can really make that this a premier location and really supports that specific community because we recognize that they're really important, not just to our market, but to the citizens of Vancouver. And so we want to continue working on that. So that's kind of a really high overview of strategic planning. Before I turn it over to Teresa, I'll just say, I know that that is really interesting to some folks. And so if you want to talk more strategic planning, you can always just come find me at the market or email me and I can talk with you more about that. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa Brum. Teresa is our liaison with the City of Vancouver and has been a partner with us for a long time and a humongous supporter of the market. So Teresa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jordan. And thanks so much for having me here at your annual meeting. I sure always appreciate the opportunity to come. It was more fun when it was in person, and I know that'll happen again soon. So can't wait for that. The City of Vancouver is just so pleased to support the farmers market for a lot of reasons. I think the most obvious is the healthy and accessible food for everyone in the community, especially downtown. But also it's a place for us to connect. And I think that that's been so important this year and last year, to see the farmers market as a place that people just love to come to, just to connect with each other and, feel a little bit normal again. And you've done such a great job of all your protocols for COVID that I think people feel like it's a really safe place to be as well. The economic benefits of the market are really significant for the city. It's a job creator. It's a place where entrepreneurs spin off, like Dandelion Tea now has a great little bricks and mortar shop downtown, and we hope to see more of those in the future. But, of all the things I do at the city and economic development, the farmers market is by far the most fun. And the one I think where it's the most, I'll just say, loved by the community. And people don't complain about the market. They just have great things to say. So it's always a pleasure to go to your meetings and help out in any way I can. And then just on a personal note, as somebody who lives downtown and just loves walking through the market, and I love shopping, thank you for showing up in bad weather and in times when it's really crowded, and just weekend after weekend. When I see you all there, I'm just so grateful that you are there for our community. And I want to thank you. Congratulations on a great year. You had a tough year, like Jordan said. Who knew, we'd have another year of dealing with the pandemic, but all of the reports I hear from Jordan show us that you have thrived for this year. So congratulations to all of you for that.
Teresa, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your continued partnership with the market. It's great to have your guys' support. So moving on. Well, we should probably talk a little bit about 2021. We'll go over this pretty quickly because I recognize that webinars can sometimes get a little dry, but we'll try to keep it fun with some photos and some review of the year. But before we get into that, I want to just take a moment to call out our staff. And for those of you who might be new to the market, put some faces to the names, especially for those of you who maybe have not seen us without masks on. So our year-round staff includes Erin Timmerman, our director of operations. She's actually out on maternity leave right now because she just had a daughter. So we're excited for Erin. Stephanie is our partnerships and programs manager. You're going to hear from her in just a second. Katrina Johnston, pretty much none of you have probably met her, but she is our bookkeeper who works with the market and is really passionate about the market and making sure you guys all get paid on time. So Katrina's a good person to have to be on the good side of. And then Abby and Kate, you guys are the ones that you vendors really interact with the most. They're our market managers. The hardest job in the market, and definitely like the most important job, I think, to what happens on a week-to-week basis. They're the ones that make the market happen. So we are just super grateful for them. Abby's actually really new to the market. I know a lot of you got a chance to meet her, and she just came out here a few months ago. She moved out here from Virginia to come work in the farmers market world, and we're super excited to have her. And then there's me, and you guys know me. So I do Zoom webinars for the farmers market. So What's also really important to call out, and we don't usually do this at annual meetings because they're not around, but it's just really great to let you guys know that beyond just our year-round management staff that kind of runs both the market and then the overall nonprofit that oversees the market, we have to have some seasonal help during the year. There's 11 of us on staff when the market's operating at sort of peak capacity. And so a lot of you met Calla this year. She ran our information booth and helped troubleshoot things like broken tints and weights and all kinds of stuff in the market. Kat was our programs assistant who did a lot of work with kids and with Stephanie and with our food access programs, and was really really important in that role. Lindy, who we'll hear about in a second here, was actually started as a volunteer and then came onto our staff part-time to help with our Market Box program, which Stephanie is going to also present on, which is really exciting. So she was the person responsible for getting all those market boxes out to cars on the weekends. And then JP and Michelle are, again, sort of the unsung heroes of the market. You guys probably never met them, but there's some young folks who worked for us, and they came in rain or shine, and they worked in the parking lots, and they were the first and the last people from the market that our customers saw, making sure they got parking and quick access to the market. And so we're really grateful for their help. 2021, the pandemic continued, the theme of the year. Well, 2020 was a little wild, and I think we all were just kind of holding on by the seat of our pants. We made it through 2020, and we weren't sure what 2021 was going to give us, and it gave us a lot of interesting things that we didn't see coming, but we were able to start this year without any hiccups, which we're really grateful for. We really worked a lot of bugs out last year. We were able to start this year in a really good place. The state regulations over the course of 2021, which it's hard to imagine that this has only been a year, we're all over the place. We went from starting, as you can see, they're under really tight regulations with lines and limited occupancy and all that kind of stuff, to no big deal, no masks, no nothing, just welcome to the farmers market and welcome to back to the community, to going back into lockdown and all kinds of different things. So it was kind of a crazy year from that perspective, but we were flexible, and not only were we flexible, but we grew. So we added 43 new vendors in 2021, which is exciting. 43 new businesses who've made it through to the end of the season. A lot of those folks came to us last year through our fall market, which is the first year we extended our season. Other markets had been shutting down during the winter months. And so we were able to grab a few of those vendors to come over here, and they liked becoming part of the VFM community so much that they stuck around for the whole season. And we're really excited to welcome them to the team. And it's just really a perfect time for me just to thank all of our vendors. Flexibility was the name of the game this year, and I'm just extraordinarily grateful to how flexible our vendors and understanding they were to our staff and our team as we worked. Lots of times we were getting word from the state like on a Friday afternoon about things we'd have to deal with on a Saturday, and vendors were just, for the most part, really able to work with us and willing and understanding that we just had to sort of do our best as an organization and as a group of vendors and small businesses and make sure we stayed open to our community. And I'm really grateful for what you guys did there for us. Just really broadly how 2021 looked. We had 224 businesses participate over 3 markets this year. We were open for 84 days, which is really exciting for us. It's one of our longer seasons. And we had just under 200,000 shoppers as of sort of year to date. So we're gonna break 200,000 for the year, but that's a pretty good number considering last year we didn't even hit 100,000. So we're definitely higher than last year, but we're nowhere near those 2019 numbers of the 400,000 plus. But from what I'm hearing from vendors, that's not necessarily indicative of like half the sales. And so we're still seeing shoppers show up and support. Joe Asakio there, one of our past board members who's on the call right now, he's at the market every weekend buying tons and tons of produce. And so we're really excited to have just really wonderful shoppers who come back to the market time and time again and support our vendors and our markets. So that's kind of gives you an idea of what our numbers looked like last year. We always do a financial presentation. It's really a weird one as usual, but let me just kind of run through the finances. And I just always like to say, I know that most people don't like to really get into the weeds of the finances, and I get it. But for those of you that do, reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss this more in depth. We're looking at a really high level here, but you look at the past couple of years, it's kind of been all over the place. 2020 really threw a wrench in the gears for everybody. And so you'll see last year in 2020, we took almost $100,000 loss. Our income was way down, obviously, from being shut down and with reduced capacity and less vendors in the market. And it was really expensive to run a market during COVID, obviously. And it continues to be expensive to run a market during COVID with all the extra staffing and safety measures we have to have in place. But this year we had really our sort of record revenues and record expenses, to see us to a really good place to sort of help and let me start over, like to help us start working to undo some of the damage that was done over 2020. So we're really grateful for that as an organization. There's some really important caveats that we need to think through when we think about the long-term financial health of the market, and I'll kind of get into that. These numbers can be a little deceptive, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what our financial picture looks like sort of through the end of this year. Our balance sheet looks relatively healthy. We got a good chunk of cash on hand, 730,000. A lot of assets, a lot of those are accounts receivable that we have coming in, so total assets of 840,000. But what's really important to recognize is we have $260,000 in liabilities there. Largely, those are loans that we took out last year. We were not eligible for really any pandemic assistance or grants in 2020. So we had to take out loans last year just to make sure that we didn't find ourselves in a position where we didn't have the cash to start 2021. So we took out some loans and we were able to secure those last year, and that was good for us. And then in 2020, we got 2021, we actually ended up getting access to a lot of pandemic assistance from the Washington State Department of Agriculture and through the federal government. And so we're really grateful for that. And so that will kind of help us out down the road, but we've got those liabilities and some loans that we need to take care of. And hopefully here in the next month or two, we're going to get those off the books. And I would love to be able to start the year as an organization with limited to no debt on the books. And so we can have a good fresh start. We get asked a lot by our board and by our people in the community, like, how does the market make money? Where does our revenue come from? We in the past have generated almost exclusively all of our income. That has changed in the last couple of years as we've had to start doing more fundraising and stuff. But here's a real rough breakdown. You might start seeing some of the challenges to our revenue stream moving into the future. So this year we have really high revenue for our organization, but about 182,000 of that is as a result of one-time COVID grants. And so we had a lot of pandemic relief coming in 2021. That's not going to hopefully it's not going to come back in 2022. So hopefully there won't be a need for it. What that means is about 24% of our income this year was really specific to COVID grants. 95,000 or so comes in through our program grants and other grants with some of our partners. Some sponsorship comes in there. The market does fundraising and donations from the community for close to $100,000. And about 49% comes from what is called program revenue technically. And that's not to be confused with the program presentation you're about to hear from Stephanie, but program service revenue is what the IRS refers to it as. And that is just the money that we generate from running a market. So that is rent. Obviously, the biggest part of that is rent from vendors and expenses, but it's also things like selling merchandise, selling market boxes to customers, and some of the other ways we generate revenue as an organization. So that makes about half of the income for the market. So as we look in the future, we're in a really good, solid position. We're really grateful for that. A lot of markets did not weather things as well as we had, and I'm really grateful for our board's leadership as we move through that process of last year. But as we look in the future, we recognize that it's only getting more expensive to run markets, and we're hoping we can continue to grow our membership base and get the market back to a little bit of a normal spot to get back in a healthy place. So we're looking forward to that. On that note, it's just really important to recognize that we don't have a market if it's not for the support of our community in many ways. And so these are just the businesses and the organizations that we partnered with just this year. Obviously, Teresa was here at the City of Vancouver, humongous partner to the market. Got some developers like Cascadia across the street who lets us use their space for free. Pac Trust in East Vancouver, which pays for and sponsors our East Vancouver market and lets us use their space for free. The Community Foundation has helped us with donations, as well as IQ Credit Union. Downtown organizations like Visit Vancouver and the VDA promote us and are partners with us. And then, the Food Bank and Peace Health and Department of Agriculture and the different state agencies like WSU and WSU Extension support all of our food access work in the community. And they're really important partners you're going to learn more about here. So it's really important that we recognize the fact that we have a lot of people in the community who support us, and we would not be the market we are if it wasn't for all of these partners. So we're really grateful for them. So what does 2022 look like? Well, I don't have a crystal ball, regretfully. And so it's hard to really know what to look forward to, but we know a few things that I think we can be confident about. We're confident as a staff and as an organization that we can continue operating at the way we're operating now for quite a while. It's maybe not ideal and it's maybe not as fun as we'd like it to be, but we can do it, and we can help small businesses stay in business, and we can make sure customers get access to food. And you'll see the success we had here in this year when you hear from Stephanie. And so we can continue doing that. We can continue working in the way we're doing it, and if needed, we'll be okay. But we hope that's not necessarily the case. And so we're optimistic, and we look forward to better times. This year, you saw us start bringing back some programs, like we sort of changed up and brought back some sort of annotated kids programs. We brought back our kids market. We got some more market tours going. And so there's some things we were able to do this year that we had not done in 2020. And we're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue slowly bringing back as appropriate some of these quote unquote normal things in the market, so that the market that you are all participating in and our community sees continues to move back towards its healthy place. And so you will just see us moving in that direction in the coming years. But we don't anticipate any significant crazy downward shifts in the coming year. We're just hoping we'll see an increasingly better season in 2022. All right, before we get to programs, it's time for another poll. So let me pull your poll up here. We want to hear about how your seasons have gone, how your season was this year compared to sort of last year. Hopefully it was a positive one. So if you get a second, go ahead and answer those questions really quick there. And we'll sort of see how things went. And of course, don't forget the Q&A section. If you have any questions, jump in the Q&A section on anything I'm saying. And of course, you can always reach out to me directly with specific questions around finance or the market or anything like that. So, all right. Got a few more people to participate here. And we will give it just one more second. And we'll give it a full minute. All right, so let's go ahead and close the poll now. And this time I'll remember to share the results. So there you can see an idea of how people kind of felt they did. Some people weren't here in 2020, kind of the same as the 2021. It might have been your first season. So we have some new folks there, so they don't have a baseline. A lot of folks sharing, 61% of the respondents saying that they had some increases in 2021, which we're glad to see. Probably not terribly surprising considering how 2020 looked, but it's definitely a positive trend for us. And so we're glad that all your seasons were looking up from last year. That was a big goal of ours. All right, we'll get out of here and move on. So next, I'm really excited to introduce to you Stephanie Haynes, who a lot of you know from the market. She's our partnerships and programs manager, and she is going to wow you guys on all the work that she has accomplished on behalf of our community with the market. So go ahead, Stephanie.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Jordan, if you want to go to the next slide. So for vendors who are new to the market this year and longtime vendors who just need a little refresher, I wanted to provide a brief overview of our market programs. Our current programs loosely fall into 3 categories, although the goals and outcomes of the programs often overlap. But those categories are food access, kids programs, and programs that expand vendor revenue and business development. So I'll just jump in. For those who don't know, SNAP, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, is a food assistance program for individuals and families that make below a certain income. So EBT, electronic benefit transfer, is the acronym used most to describe the physical card that the benefits are loaded into. And I just wanted to clarify that because you've probably seen the word SNAP and EBT thrown around a lot at the market interchangeably. So the market is a SNAP retailer, meaning that instead of each individual vendor having to buy the equipment and apply for the licensing to process SNAP cards, the market processes the benefits, food benefits at the info booth and distributes tokens to customers for the market, which most of you have seen when those customers come and spend them at your booths. We are also a part of a statewide program called SNAP Market Match, where we partner with the Washington State Department of Health and over 100 farmers markets in the state to match customers dollar for dollar with free vouchers for fruits and veggies every single time they swipe their card at the market. Market tours are an amazing partnership between WC Extension, Snap Ed, Peace Health, and Camas Farmers Market. Those shopping tours take SNAP customers through the market, show them how to use their benefits, receive tokens and matching, introduce them to farmers, and just allow them to share recipes and cooking and storage tips for fruits and vegetables to help SNAP customers feel comfortable and confident shopping at the market. And gleaning, the Glean team is a long-standing partnership between the Vancouver Farmers Market and the Clark County Food Bank, and every Sunday volunteers solicit food and produce donations from market vendors for donation to local food pantries. So moving over to our kids programs, in partnership with IQ Credit Union, Produce Pals provides an opportunity for kids to engage in the local food systems through conversations with farmers, educational games, demonstrations, and just overall exposure to new fruits and veggies. And after completing an activity every week, kids receive a $2 token to spend on produce at the market, allowing them to make their own healthy shopping decisions and in turn increasing some sales for farmers. And then the kids market is a chance for kids to learn small business and lifestyle skills by becoming a market vendor for a day or a weekend. And just a really quick side note that we just released the application for the kids holiday market, and that will be taking place at the fall market on December 18th. So if any of our vendors know any creative kids, have any kids or grandkids who want to apply for that, that application is open and it's currently on our Instagram and Facebook pages. And then for our programs that expand vendor revenue and business development, our online market and curbside pickup program, in partnership with the Community Foundation of Southwest Washington, we started this program in 2020 as a response to COVID-19, just to provide customers an alternative way to shop the market at that time. But the online market continues to provide vendors the option of having an online presence and to participate in an additional sales channel outside of their physical market booth. And our Market Box program, we just started this this past year in 2021. We started a market-wide fruit and veggie subscription box program. We sold 10 and 20-week subscription boxes to over 60 customers. And we purchased produce for the boxes directly from multiple market farmers, again, just providing farmers with an additional sales channel outside of their regular market booth days. And finally, our business development fund. So in partnership with the Vancouver Farmers Market Foundation, which you'll be hearing from a little later, we offer vendors up to $1,000 per year in scholarship support for continuing education opportunities and certifications that will help improve their business. So that's the quick overview of all of our programs, but I just want to dive a little bit deeper into SNAP and SNAP Market Match numbers for 2021. So from last year, 2020, our SNAP transactions are up 444%, and our SNAP Market Match is up 459%, for a total of over $286,000 in food assistance distributed to low-income customers so far in 2021. That does not include our fall market numbers. That is up from 39,000 in 2019 and 71,000 in 2020. That is huge. So I just want to acknowledge that huge amount of food assistance that's going into our community through the market. There's likely a combination of reasons for this increase. In 2021, we were able to increase SNAP Market Match to $40 per customer per day. That's up from $20 in 2020 and only $5 in matching in 2019. Additionally, basic food allotment, meaning the amount of benefits received each month per family, increased by about 15% in 2021 because of the pandemic. And also probably because pandemic EBT or PEBT was automatically distributed to all kids registered for free and reduced lunch in 2021. So customers were able to use not only their EBT, their regular EBT card, but also their PEBT card at the farmers market for matching dollars. And I just want to note a really important note that in 2021, the VFM was the second largest distributor of SNAP and SNAP Market Match out of more than 100 farmers markets in the state. We were the second largest. So that is really huge. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank our staff, volunteers, and vendors, really thank our vendors for navigating such a vast increase of SNAP and SNAP Market Match usage at the market in 2021, and for just helping us increase food access for our community through this program. So I know I just threw a lot of information at you about programs, and there's a lot more to share really. But in the next two slides, I just want to show you what the impacts of market programs are and what it has meant for our organization and for vendors and our community in 2021. So in 2021, over 3,000 community members were served through food assistance, nutrition education, and kids programs. As I mentioned, over $286,000 in food assistance was distributed through SNAP and SNAP Market Match. And 16,650 pounds of produce was gleaned from the market and redirected to our neighbors in need. Additionally, next slide, 80 farmers and vendors took advantage of our programs and participated in the online market box program, in addition to attending the physical farmers market. And almost $86,000 in additional revenue was generated for vendors as a result of market programming. And again, $1,000 in business development funds offered per vendor towards continuing education and certification costs. So yeah, 2021 was a great year for programs, and we are just really excited to share with you what we have in store for 2022. So thank you all who participated in our programs, and thanks everyone for a really great season.
Awesome. Stephanie, thank you very much. You didn't have enough time to really do this justice because this is a really big impact. So, please, any questions about programs, throw them there in the Q&A section or reach out to Stephanie. It's a pretty drastic growth that she has overseen here at the market. So we're really grateful for the effect that has, not just on our community, but on all of our businesses as well. So I'm gonna turn it over to Abby Ketchum right now. She's our new market manager here in the market. A lot of you got a chance to know her this year, and she is going to share with you all about our volunteers. Hello, Abby.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. So behind every successful farmers market is an extraordinary volunteer team. Every Saturday and Sunday, our volunteers sacrifice part of their weekend to be at the Vancouver Farmers Market, and they make it really the best that it can be. Our staff is incredibly thankful to each and every volunteer who has made an impact on the market by waking up early, sometimes very early, and making themselves readily available for whatever tasks the market might throw at them. So some of these tasks you can see on the presentation. They include going around and counting customers with a little clicker. So if you see someone walking around with a clicker, it's probably one of our volunteers. Helping man the info booth, assisting with curbside pickup, and even serving on our board. Our volunteers are eager to jump in wherever assistance is needed. They're pretty awesome. And this year, our volunteers put in 1,190 hours into assisting with the market. And we had 52 volunteers, and 24 were dedicated returning volunteers, and 28 are very hardworking new volunteers. And so we're super thankful for everybody who has been a volunteer at the market. So being a volunteer can be a demanding task. So we want to thank every volunteer for contributing so much of their time, energy, and efforts to it. You did an excellent job and you're so appreciated. I especially want to recognize Lindy and Sabrina, who have clocked over 100 volunteer hours with the market, and Marianne, who has dedicated an amazing 400 hours to assisting with market operations. So our volunteers are the lifeblood of the market, and we are excited to see what your future with our market holds.
Abby, thank you very much. That's awesome. Volunteers are certainly important, and especially during COVID, they were never more important than that. So it's great to have everyone helping out run the market. So I wanted to jump back. I jumped over this really quickly, but and I skipped a section here, but I really want to, we have another poll, and this is a programs poll. We kind of want to know from you guys, what market programs do you think, from your perspective, benefit the market or your business the most? So really quickly, just choose the programs. I believe this maybe is multiple choice too, so you can choose as many as you'd like, but give us an idea of what your most important programs are to you. And then we'll be getting on and we'll be talking advertising next with Sophie Banner. Hopefully this poll function, it's the first time we've used this, so hopefully it's not super complicated and it's relatively intuitive. It's always great to get feedback from you guys. I'll give it just another second here, just let the last poll results come in. It's also a great way to see who's still paying attention. I should start doing this during staff meetings. All right, here we go. We're going to end the poll. Share the results. So obviously, no surprise there, that Snap Market Match is really important to you all in the online market. That's good to hear that has been been helpful for you. All of our vendors are going to be getting to hear a poll pretty soon. We like to do polls at the end of our season. We'll send them out directly to you guys. They're more in depth and give you a lot of opportunity to share sort of personal anecdotes with us, and so we can really think about how we create these programs and how we best set this up for success in the coming year. So here we go today. Okay, I'm going to exit out of this really quick, and then we're going to turn it over to Sophie, who's going to share with us some advertising and promotions. Hey, Sophie.
Hello, everybody. Thanks again for having me tonight. Always happy to do anything related to the farmers market. I think Teresa and Stephanie both mentioned, it's been exciting to see all of the business and crowds picking back up. It's the happy place, at least for me. Every weekend, it's a place where I feel like there is a sense of normal despite the pandemic. So just wanted to give a quick update. Andrew can't join me tonight. He has other obligations, but you've probably seen him around the market taking some awesome photos. He and I kind of tag team on promoting all you do on social media. So just a real quick snapshot. We promote the farmers market on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can see here how many followers we have. And I threw in, just to give you an idea, some of the increases in followers. I think what we've seen, at least during the pandemic, is a lot of people turning to online channels to get more information about what's changing as far as business protocols, hours. A lot more people are online or on social media, for better or worse. So we're using a lot of those channels and driving a lot of engagement with customers there. You'll see Facebook and Instagram are primary channels. And of course, all of you vendors are following us and do a great job tag teaming and marketing with us online. Last year on Facebook, we reached, we're inching closer to 417,000. So a lot of folks on Facebook are seeing our posts. Instagram as well. We had a lot of, or a big increase in followers, about 19% over the past year. So this is from our last meeting to now. And then we reached about 76,000 folks. And most of these folks that I'm talking about are people who live in Vancouver and the Portland metro area. And just a fun fact, about 82% of the people who follow us are women. So we have a very female customer base, at least when it comes to social media. And most of those folks are between 25 and 45 years old. So just some fun facts. You can see if that parallels your actual customer base at the in-person market. Next slide. As far as messaging, we are kind of echoing what Jordan said about the pandemic. While 2020 was sort of tumultuous and difficult, and messaging around safety protocols was very important, we had to kind of continue to use social media as an extension of or education around how we were keeping people healthy and protocols for being a shopper at the farmers market. But we also wanted to pivot and kind of celebrate again with our first message that shopping small and shopping local is always, I guess, always in season. So we started focusing more on what we've done in the past, which is telling the stories of vendors, a lot of the new vendors, the people that make the market what it is, and that the market again is a place where, you know, you can have fun and there's a sense of community there despite unusual times. And then of course, as Stephanie was talking about, with all of the new programming and then the addition of programs that had once occurred but were unfortunately not happening in 2020, we were there to promote things like the kids market, the launch of the new Market Box subscription program, helping to recruit volunteers, but of course, just continuing to infuse as much as possible that while we are open for business, we still want to keep our community healthy. So COVID-19 guidelines. Next slide. These are just some examples of some awesome work or some photos and visuals that Andrew Jeffers, who I'm sure many of you have seen around the market, has taken over the course of the season. Just to give you an idea of the look and feel of some of the marketing and promotions you'll see, especially on our Instagram page. So showcasing customers, always showcasing people and vendors wearing masks as appropriate, you know, following COVID guidelines, social distancing where possible. And then of course, the new Market Box program and the launch of that. Next slide. And then just wanted to do a few shout outs. We have a lot of vendors who are doing an awesome job promoting themselves on social media and the farmers market. But these three were kind of superstars this past season. So Long Cookie has done an awesome job every week with promoting specials for the upcoming weekend. And then of course, during the actual weekend, posting a lot of stories and tagging the market so we can share those through our channels as well. I think Nil Organic Tea has some really beautiful photography. So just wanted to give them a shout out. And they always do a great job tagging the Vancouver Farmers Market in their posts so that we can share them. And then Milk Money, great job on giveaways, interesting community partnerships this year with honeybees and nonprofits to support our different nonprofits that Milk Money supports. So a lot of cool collaborations coming from Milk Money. And then of course, some great posting in advance of the weekend's market with seasonal or menu items that we can then share on our own channels. So just some quick shout outs. There are many who do an awesome job, but we just thought a few needed a little bit of extra love for doing a great job. So just, this is a really quick snapshot, but of course, if you have ideas about or stories or photos that you'd like us to share on social media, please grab one of us at the market. I can send our emails around. We're always interested in telling more stories about vendors, and of course, tag us in all of your content. And if you're not following us, of course, you should be at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Awesome. Sophie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And before we get on to the foundation, what's your appetite for that picture? Just a second. We have one more poll, but I would just want to take a moment just to recognize Sophie and Andrew. They have been working with us now for a few years, and they were especially helpful during COVID, but they've always just been great to really, just to have someone focusing. I think this is the biggest challenge. We're really trying to support you as vendors, and there's going to be some educational opportunities, especially around marketing and promotions coming up in the new year, to help vendors continue just getting better at that and getting more new techniques and tips and tricks there. But it's really hard, and we know that. Our market managers used to do all of our social media, and honestly, it was really hard to do. It was hard to be consistent, and it was easy to forget when things are happening in the market, and we know it is for you too. So for those vendors who are committed to that, that's great, and we're happy to continue supporting you all and finding new ways to sort of promote your business. Before we go on to our final presentation tonight on the foundation, we have a last poll, and it's sort of in partnership with, I'm sorry here. It is in relationship to your business is the foundation. So I want to launch this poll here, and we want to hear about your business. Again, we'll have more opportunity for you to share more in depth on this, but we would just love to hear, what are the hurdles you're facing as a business? What are the challenges that you run into with the market around your business? And that way we can hopefully support you as best as possible. So give us an idea of where your needs lie. And you'll have an opportunity later to give us more in-depth answers here, but our foundation and our staff really want to know, so we can really just try to help you guys be successful. A lot of answers coming in. People have been thinking about this apparently. That's good. All right, we'll give it just another second to go, and then I'll finish it up. All right, let me share the results with you guys. You can all see that. Staffing, a problem we've heard for years, and it's only getting worse, and we recognize how hard that is. We know how hard it is just to hire for us, and I'm sure it definitely is for businesses, and it's so important to have good staff interacting with their customers. There's definitely some needs for some support around ingredients and access to supplies and production space, and that's really helpful. And then it looks like a lot of you, half the respondents here. So getting the word out about your business, like Sophie just chatted about. So that's going to be helpful for us as we think about how to not just help you get the word out about your business, but maybe work internally to see how we can support you guys in getting your word out about your individual businesses and helping tell the stories of all the small businesses who are part of the market. So thanks again for that. That's your last poll, so you're off the hook now, but I'm going to turn it over to Marianne. A lot of you know Marianne, but when she's not being a vendor at the market, is serving as our foundation president. So Marianne, you're on. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Jordan. Like Jordan said, many of you know me as a vendor at the market, but I took on a role of president of the foundation a couple years ago. And the foundation mission, as stated on this slide, cultivating, educating, and inspiring a well-fed community. During COVID, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of background about what we do. And during COVID, we raised money for the market to run the online program. We didn't have funds to do that, so we were given grants to implement that. And then this kept a lot of businesses that weren't able to be at the market. And when the market was closed, up and running, and to be able to get our, farms are still producing produce. They have to have a way to sell it. So this was a great idea, and it really, I think, helped out a lot of businesses. We also, as Stephanie mentioned, we also have funds set aside for business development for vendors. And that's something that the market staff can talk to you about if you need some business development funds. Last year, we supported many vendors who needed a little bit of extra money to keep their businesses going. And it was really important that we were able to provide that. It was a little bridge to get them through the hump of the worst part of COVID, I think. And really, I joined the board for these very reasons, to support the market, and to support our vendors, and to support families who are underserved and who might not have access to fresh food. Like Stephanie mentioned, the SNAP benefits, matching SNAP benefit programs. The Farmers Market Foundation has done a lot to really help with a lot of the programs that Stephanie spoke about. We also have support from our volunteers. Becky, Teresa, Jordan, and Stephanie all help on the foundation, with the foundation. And we also have support from our community too, like Community Foundation, IQ Credit Union, the Clark County Realtors Foundation, On Point Credit Union, and Walmart Foundation. And also, we have a lot of donors in our community who keep giving every year. This time of year, we are getting ready for our end of year appeal. And Tuesday the 30th is Giving Tuesday. And this is something that people can give through our Vancouver Farmers Market Foundation.org website to support the foundation and the mission of the foundation. We also have an appeal, a year-end appeal to our supporters, and that will be going out here pretty quickly. If you have the opportunity to support the foundation, we're looking for new members. It's a lot of work, and 5 people who are very busy, and especially our market staff, really are trying to step back on as much as they can because they have a market to run. And Stephanie has been awesome in helping with getting the programs for the foundation, and Jordan and his organizational skills has really helped the foundation as well. But we're also looking for some more board members who can give their time to help keep the market foundation going, and that can help with the programs that the foundation serves. So if you are interested, you can contact me, Jordan, Stephanie, any of the market staff, and let them know that you're interested in joining the board.
Oops, I'm muted. There we go. Marianne, thank you so much for being here and for sharing and your service to the foundation and your service to your fellow vendors, which has been really exciting. And congratulations officially and formally on Zoom over the opening of your of the Dandelion Tea House. So congratulations. Yeah, so if you are interested in being part of the foundation or just partnering with us in some way on fundraising efforts or on special programs, you don't have to join the board. There's a lot of ways to that. You can see, I think you can just see behind you like this graphic off to the side, through not just through the foundation, but just in general, the foundation's support of the market and getting over $370,000 in support back into the market through agriculture, purchasing of food, getting low-income shoppers out there, supporting businesses, that kind of thing. So that's a pretty exciting number for us, and it's something we want to continue growing. And the foundation, sort of behind the scenes, is going to be really getting after that. So check out social media. Be keeping your eyes out for Giving Tuesday and some end of year foundation stuff. You can go to Vancouver Farmers Market Foundation.org. There's not a ton there yet, but we're continuing to add to that. And there will be more information about how to give and how to donate there. Also, I saw some questions popping up about scholarships. There's some more information there, and definitely just come right to any market manager. Pick your favorite market manager, come talk with them, and they will get you scholarship applications or support. We spend a lot of time working with small businesses. And so if you are in a position where you don't even need any help, if you just want someone to bounce some ideas off of and you want an outside perspective or some assistance on something, let us know, and we will. If we can't help you ourselves, we have a lot of resources in the community and other vendor resources through really other successful businesses at the market, and we can get you the help you need. We want to see everyone succeed at the market. So this brings to a close our formal presentation. A few things to clean up here, housekeeping wise. If you joined late or you didn't get a chance yet to put your name and business or affiliation into the chat box, please do that now. That way we can just make sure to get everyone's attendance down and know who is here. I see all the questions have been answered, but hopefully you all had a chance to see that. I'll when I stop the recording here, we'll keep this up and you can probably, I think, peruse the chat and the Q&A here a little bit before I shut things down. So that would be a great opportunity for you to see that. And then we'll be posting this probably on your YouTube page here, hopefully in next couple of days once I get it edited down and uploaded. So we'll let everyone know about that. So if you are just so excited to relive the glory that was the 2021 annual meeting, then you can do it all day long on YouTube. So that'll be exciting. In finality, I do just want to say a couple of things. So before I do my thank yous to all of our vendors and our staff and our board, which are so great, I just want to let everyone know, and a lot of you have already seen this, but 2022 applications went live today. So if you are going to come back to the farmers market, and a lot of you have already applied, jump on Management Markets. You can find it through VancouverFarmersMarket.com or through the link that was emailed out to vendors today. Jump in there and get your applications in for next year. We'll be opening up applications to the general other vendors and new vendors starting December 1st. So you have a week and a half or so to kind of get in there early. And any questions, you know how to get a hold of us, info@VancouverFarmersMarket.com. And a lot of you already email with us, so you know how to get a hold of us. So that's all we have for tonight. It is 7 o'clock and I'm super grateful that you joined us. I know this is not nearly as fun as an in-person annual meeting, and we promise there will be some in-person opportunities coming up as soon as possible. We will gather together and we will eat and we'll enjoy together and we'll enjoy each other's company and we'll celebrate the work that your businesses are doing in our community. So thanks for being here and have a wonderful evening.